Hi, everybody. This is Saad. I was sitting working on my latest book, and in doing some searches, I came up with a term and concept that you've heard me discuss before, but it's one that you really can't get enough of. And so I did some more searches, and I thought to continue the tradition of me reading you some of these great works of from academia. This is a wonderful piece of work, actually, from a person at McGill University, one of my alma maters. It's published in, let's see, the Journal of Architectural Education. Okay. The title is Home is the Place We All Share, Building Queer Collective Utopias. So this is part of the field of queer architecture. It's the gentleman's name is Olivier. I'm thinking he's a gentleman, but he may be non-binary or two-spirit. We don't know, but the person's name, they's name, theirs name is Olivier Valeurant from McGill. So here we go. This is the abstract, and then I'll read more later. I mean, I'll continue reading. In the early 1990s, feminist challenges to mainstream architectural discourses were taken up by queer space theorists who broadened the focus from understanding how space is gendered and sexualized to suggest new ways of inhabiting space. In the last decade, a new generation exemplified by artists Elm Green and Draxet's transformation of architectural spaces further pushed the challenges, offering a communitarian ideal that puts aside traditional public and private divisions. These spatial experiences can be linked to the ideas of queer theorist José Esteban Muñoz, who proposes a queer futurity tainted with political idealism, which can inspire architecture to emulate a queer collectivity. Now, this is a quote to start us off from queer theorist José Esteban Muñoz. Queerness is not yet here. Queerness is an ideality. Put another way, we are not yet queer. We may never touch queerness, but we can feel it as the warm illumination of a horizon imbued with potentiality. We have never been queer, yet queerness exists for us as an ideality that can be distilled from the past and used to imagine a future. The future is queerness's domain. José Esteban Muñoz. Let's keep going. This is in the Journal of Architectural Education, folks. In his 2009 Cruising Utopia, queer theorist José Esteban Muñoz suggests that queerness is essentially utopian, that it can only exist as an ideality. With this suggestion, Muñoz adds another layer to an already complicated definition of queer that has evolved and diffused throughout various disciplines since it was reclaimed by activists and theorists in the late 1980s. In architecture, however, the influence of queer theory has been fairly limited after an initial burst of interest in the mid-1990s. This disinterest in queerness is surprising, considering the history of domestic spaces in the 20th century. Looking back at this history, one is confronted with a series of contrasting utopian desires, visions of domesticity that implicitly and explicitly address gender and sexuality. From Le Corbusier's dream of a machine for living in, fueled by the changing values of modernity, to the radical networks of controlled environments of the 1950s and 1960s, these critical projects most often aimed at transforming the individual living cell to make it more efficient and protective, even if often anchored in larger social critics. While these utopias have been repeatedly challenged from various points of view, I focus here on recent queer utopias that suggest a radically new way of building collectivity. These utopias call for the blurring of traditional understandings of public and private and attempt to open windows onto new potentiality towards freeing queer futurity. There you have it, folks. I hope that you've enjoyed this. This is my little gift for you for a great new year. If there are any aspiring architects out there, if you're thinking of buying a house, try to resist your queer phobia. Try to explore ways by which you can live in a home that's queer friendly, develop architectural solutions that are queer friendly, build interior spaces that are queer friendly, because that will say, hey, I'm an ally to queerness and its futurity. This is all taxpayer funded. Take care, everybody. Have a great year. Cheers.